I remember I got to catch a Ludacris one.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. These
that was
were some
awesome.
of those were big then.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So Ludacris, I
Nice.
seen him early on, Lil Bow Wow, Lil Romeo, those guys. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Lil Bow Wow's.
Little
Yeah,
Romeo.
yeah,
Woo!
yeah. Throwback.
Dropping some, yeah.
That's actually kind of how I got into like making music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Really. So
yeah.
how did, growing up like in a military family, so you lived in Fort Hood?
Yep,
Okay.
that's where I grew up.
Okay.
Yeah, I
All
was
right.
born
So
in Germany and grew up in Fort Hood, Texas. So I spent pretty much the
how
entirety of my
long did
life.
you live in Germany?
Probably not even a full 2 years,
Full two
honestly.
years.
Yeah,
Okay.
not even that long. Cause my parents, they're from Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
They grew up, born and raised Detroit, like the
Okay.
entire family. Then my dad joined the military. We ended up in Germany at some point, enough for me to be born. And
You and Breezy are both from Detroit then.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yep.
And so how do you feel like growing up in that kind of atmosphere? I grew up in a neighborhood,
Uh,
and so is that a lot different growing up in like a military base? What's the feel
I
like, I
think it's
guess?
different because the environment, like my childhood was awesome.
Mhm.
Like there was just so much to do. Like you're in a neighborhood where there are a lot of kids there, so like you have a bunch of friends to play with. You're outside playing every
Mhm.
weekend
Yeah.
with your friends, and they have stuff like youth centers. Like I had a youth center in my backyard, pretty much,
Okay.
and I would go up there to play basketball when I got a little older. So
So does it
yeah.
feels like a neighborhood, but then all of a sudden like an F-15 just
You would hear,
like,
yeah, you would always
is
just
it
hear,
that close quarters or
you just hear like bombs going
yeah,
off
yeah,
in
yeah.
in the training field.
Practice drills next
Yeah,
door,
it's pretty
kids. Take it
crazy.
easy. Stay out of the Johnson's yard. They're searching for mines.
Yeah, it would be pretty crazy though. It was cool though, growing up in Fort Hood for sure.
And so, how do you think that kind of you were talking about seeing those groups like Ludacris and Lil Bow Wow and Lil Romeo? How did that? And then you said it kind of that's how you got into making music. So
Yeah.
when did how old were you? When did that kind of start?
I think I was 7.
7.
Um,
And how did you
my
start making music? So how does a 7-year-old start making
I
music?
went to, I think it was a Lil Romeo concert, him or Bow Wow,
That's
and I
how.
was like, I want to do that. And came home, had a karaoke machine,
Okay.
and would put the tape in the karaoke machine, blank tape, put a instrumental disc in the CD part,
Mm-hmm.
play that, and then hit record, and I would just record raps like that.
So you were making tapes.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
I legit still remember my first rap. That it was like I used to go by Little Bounce. That was my
Lil
first
Bounce.
rap name.
Oh, bring
I was
back
like-
Lil Bounce. Bring it back.
First rap was they call me Lil Bounce when I jump I like to pounce. As simple as that. I remember that's the first bar I ever
There you
spit
go.
as a rapper.
That's better bars than a lot of the rappers that I've heard. All right, that are grown people. All right. All right, man. And so, you started as a 7-year-old. That's funny, man, because when I was 7, I remember we had this little tape recorder thing too, and I used to like try to record like Garth Brooks type stuff
Yeah.
into it, man, because I just remember Garth Brooks like lighting his guitar on fire. Like when I was a kid, that was one of the first things I saw. I was like, okay, I don't know what that was, but that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then as I got older and got influenced by my brothers, that's when I started hearing all different types of music. So you're growing up, 7 years old, you just kind of rapping, making your own beats. How did your parents respond? I feel like this could have been something that they either were like really excited about or
Yeah.
maybe not so excited about.
My parents have always been cool of just kind of like letting me do my thing. Like I was super heavy into sports too. Like
Okay.
that's pretty much
What was your game of choice?
I
Or
I did it
sport?
all.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually went to college for football, but
Okay.
that's down the line, I guess. But yeah, they were pretty open to just kind of let me experience new things and try and do new stuff. So me and my friends would be over there rapping, and they, would just kind of close the door and let us do our thing.
Yeah. Kids will be kids. Just
Yeah.
let them go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And so as you got older, you start to get into your teenage years. What did you start to listen to? Because in that age, that's when a lot of us start to discover our own music.
Yeah.
We start to break away from what our parents liked a little bit more.
Right.
We start rebelling a little bit here and there. So what was going on in the mind of MJ as a 13, 14-year-old
Let
growing
me
up?
think. Man, probably a lot of. I know I was getting into a lot of like Houston music.
Okay.
So your Zeros, the Treys, the real like moody rap, Houston rap.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that, a lot of mainstream. Actually, one of the first CDs my mom got me was Kanye's Graduation.
Okay.
his graduation album. That was like one of the first like albums I had. So a lot of that, honestly. Shoot, I dove into a lot, man. Like I would come home, turn on 106 and Park, and watch all the videos on there. Flip to MTV, watch all the videos on there on Total Request Live.
MTV had music videos? What are you talking about, man?
That's
there
a
was
point
a time.
in time. There was one time.
The phone used to be attached to the wall, too.
But man, yeah, tuning into like Total Request Live and then watching all the stuff on
TRL, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was fun, dude. They'd have all those artists on there. You know, that was those were good times. Music videos were a big thing for a while.
I know.
They were a big thing. And so, how did you, 13, 14, you're taking in, that's when we're taking in all this information, all this music, developing kind of who we are, how we feel we are, and behave, what our friends want to be like. Where did you start to go from there? Did music kind of stick around, or did sports start to take over? And did you then start to maybe find different outlets of creativity?
Yeah. I've always had a good balance of both. Like sports was really important to me. Like that was what like I was pushing to be like I was going to be a professional athlete and do that whole thing. But music always stuck around. Me and my like group of friends growing up, we would just hang out at my friend's house and just be over there laughing, clowning around, making music. So I've always just continuously made sure I like
a mix of both.
Yeah, made music still, did it for fun because like that's just an outlet of like expression.
Yeah, that
is like I'll always hold on to. I'll probably be 80 still making stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I've always like I feel like everybody's got to have some kind of hobby.
Yeah,
we just might not be like sure what it is.
Right.
Like I meet some people without hobbies. And I wonder like how do you what do you do?
Like how do you drive?
You just how do you chill?
Yeah.
How do you how do you get your mind to relax? I think that's why some of us have hobbies. I think like you could be like a kind of a good representation of somebody who's always trying different things.
Yeah.
And you got so many hobbies because you like to stay busy.
Yeah.
You like the way that feels, So, and when you were playing, when you were making music, did you have anybody, like any instrument knowledge or any, like, how did you start to kind of make stuff?
That's one of my biggest regrets. I don't really regret stuff, but just to say, not learning the basic knowledge and skills of music, like how to play instruments, how to read music. Because if I knew that, it would have been a total different story. But like I said, most of my time went into sports, so I didn't really have the time. I didn't feel like I had the time at that point to really put all that, thought into like grow into that and learn more.
Yeah, you weren't there. You weren't at that point to dedicate that time.
Yeah, I just knew
sports was I'm going to be a professional athlete.
Right.
That was the more direct path that you saw at that time.
So I knew how to hop on Cool Edit Pro and hit record and throw my instrumental in there and like record. That's it. Like,
nice.
I wish I knew more instruments, so that would have been super tight.
Yeah, it's something that I definitely had to learn. I had no idea what I was doing at first, and my buddy, I had this thing with 16 pads. And it was the same like chords, on every time I'd play something, so everything sounded very similar. My buddy just like gave me a 64 key keyboard. He's like, just take this, man.
Yeah.
I can't listen to this stuff anymore. You gotta learn how to play this. After you learn how to play this, then you can come and show me your beats. I was like, okay,
fine.
I'll be back in a couple of years. I'll see you then. I'll see you then. So then you said you went to college for football. So where did you go to school?
I went to school at Southwestern Oklahoma State.
Okay.
Yep, up in Weatherford, Oklahoma. It's like,
is that not where
that's
Bright went?
Yeah, we all went to the same college.
Very strange. The two connections of friends that I had, this triangulation that's occurring right now. That's wild, man. And so, did you kind of keep making, along with the stresses of the NCAA, student athlete life? Did you continue making music, and when did you start to get into photography and taking pictures and all that fun stuff?
Man, okay, so first question, I did continue to, like, whenever spring would roll around, those are my sweet spots. I'm like, cool, like, we're in spring, it's not football season, I got time to kind of make music still, do all that, have fun with that, and I would still do it throughout college, and very minimum though, just to kind of keep it, because with the NCAA, I didn't want to risk getting in trouble or anything or upsetting a coach or something. But
for sure.
And second question?
The second question was, when did photography start?
Oh man, okay, so that's always low key been a passion of mine too. Like I've always had a camera.
Okay.
Like at some point in my life, I've always had a camera. My mom, she took a bunch of pictures. She would always bring cameras to the game and make sure that she got film of all my games, pictures for me and all that. So shout out to her for that.
That's one thing that's kind of gone away is like the house being filled with family pictures.
Yeah,
You know, it's because we have them all right here.
Right.
We have them on our computer. You know, we want to show somebody a picture, we just go like that.
Yep.
But I can remember that too. Is you have your grandpa has the huge camera right here, and then pictures of everybody.
Dude,
all
every
over the
time
place.
I go home, I pop those old VHSs of like my old football games.
You still got some of those?
All of them.
Oh
dude.
man, I don't know where those went, but those are classic.
Yeah,
Those
I
were like
will
nurturing in my
never-
mind when we would watch those. It'd be like, the good old days. They weren't that good. I was very confused.
Get the static, and then you have to rewind.
rewind it back. Yeah, exactly. And so, what is one of your favorite things about photography? What is it that drew you to it?
I really love just like capturing moments. I just feel like you can capture a still moment that's like going to last you a lifetime. That's why I'm so huge on it, because it's just you get to capture these moments in time. Like our memories aren't as good as we would like to think, and it's you can just have it right here, and that's why I'm so big and I push to use it, because it's like utilize it. Don't be so against. I know there's people out there who say don't take pictures of everything, and I'm like, I get that, but it's like, why not? Because these are moments that you might not remember 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line. So it will be better to have that moment right there, and you get to capture that moment. Like, dang, I remember when I did that. And that never goes away. You know what I'm saying? So that's being able to capture those moments for people was one of the biggest reasons I got into it. And I'm just also just huge on just like shapes, colors, sizes, bringing it all together and just like making art. I just like really love to create. Like I have a super deep passion for creating, and that's just another reason why I got into photography as well.
And so how do you bring it all together? Because that's one of the things is when you really start to get picky about what you're taking pictures of, and you really want to create a certain feeling, of what you're photographing, that's when things can start to get complicated.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'll go outside, like, that'd be a great photo, and then I sit and I'm like, that doesn't make me feel anything at all.
Yeah.
Man,
a lot of the time it's just, for me personally, it's just the feeling and what I see. So if I'm walking, I'm like, hey, I need to take a picture of that. I just do it. I don't put any thought into it. But, when it gets to more like shoots and stuff like that, keeping that more organized, I am extremely picky. Feel like I'm one of the more picky on myself, at least, because I feel like if I'm not picky on myself, then how do I get better?
Yeah, definitely. You're always your biggest critic.
Yeah. But making sure that I capture those moments that I want, because there's always an idea in mind, and like there's always an idea that I'm wanting to capture and make sure that I get. And you kind of already imagine it in your head before you do it, and then when you do it, you're like, bam, that's it.
Okay.
For me, that's how it usually goes.
It's about formulating
almost
the idea
premeditated,
here and then making it happen right there. Are there ever times where you have an idea of something that you want and you don't have to formulate it, it just happens?
Yeah, and that's just a more natural, just like, okay, we're here, we're in this moment, bam. Because a lot of the times, like when I'm shooting with people, I don't like to do too much. I like to let a lot come natural, because I feel like when you're trying too hard, then those natural shots don't come out great. I just like to conversate with people while I'm shooting, just casual conversation. Like I don't be like, pose like this, pose like that. Like just do you, be natural. We can turn on some music and just like have a conversation, and the shots always come out amazing. And I feel like for me, that's just how it should flow, because when people are their most, because a lot of people are really uncomfortable taking pictures. And that's something I've learned getting into photography. Like everybody's worried about like how they look and stuff. It's like, it's going to be cool. You're going to get the most dope shots ever. Just be in your own element, be in your own zone, and we're going to just like vibe out and get like some super cool dope art.
Yeah.
And, when I just let it flow like that, and it always turns out.
Yeah, man, and the people who I've done some small photo shoots and stuff like that with people are for different, creative endeavors. Every time I'm like, over the years of doing those, you kind of get used to like, okay, like there's always a kind of an uncomfortable feeling
Yeah.
of getting a picture taken, but you have to, like you said, just hang out.
Yeah.
Talk to the photographer behind the lens, make each other laugh, things of
Yeah.
that nature, because that's when you're going to catch those genuine moments. And then that's the job of the photographer. And the great thing about digital now is you can go back and you scroll through your
Right.
your 60, 100 photos that you took in that session and find your top 10.
Yeah.
And then your top 5, and then your top 3, something like that. So yeah, I experienced that a lot when I was first in front of the camera. Like, I don't know what to do, like with my hands, or do I smile?
Right. And I've learned to keep that in mind. Like, I have to find a way to make people the most comfortable they want to be, so they can get these shots that they want. So yeah, for sure.
And to go along with, when we're talking, like, we're taking pictures of figures of people, there's always the fashion. There's an element of streetwear and high fashion at times to your shoots. What is it that attracted you to kind of that kind of style? Like, I find that your shoots are pretty brightly colored at times.
I love color.
Okay.
I love color so much. Like, there's nothing I love more than color. Because I just feel like color is just like, I don't know how to explain it, man, but like, you can do so much with color. Like, even something that might not seem like it has much color, you can take it and add such a story with color. And I just love mixing different colors, shapes, and size, like different things together to just make this one like beautiful piece of work. And like, color is the main driving factor behind that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, right on. Yeah, because that was one thing I always noticed is, man, these images pop.
Yeah.
They come out, they're nice. And so, one thing that we haven't really brought up either is that you kind of have to learn how to do these things.
Yeah.
And so.
It's work for
Yeah,
sure.
what was kind of the process, of figuring out what looks good on camera?
Trial and error, man. Like everything with life is trial and error. Like, you have to be curious enough to want to try something and then say, okay, this is either going to work and it's not going to work. But if it doesn't work, why doesn't it work? And then go figure out why it doesn't work and, go get the knowledge to learn and continue to grow into that. But trial and error, man. That's the biggest thing with everything for me.
And so, once again, some people are uncomfortable on the other side of the camera, but how do you become? Was there an experience of a little bit of discomfort when you first started photographing people, because they're relying on you to kind of get the shot? You know, I even feel uncomfortable when Lofty's like, "Yo, cop a fit pick in portrait mode." I'm like, I don't understand how portrait mode works. But I'll do my best.
It's definitely a little bit, but it's gonna be funny. This is like one of my approaches that I take with like performing on stage. It's like either I do good or this flops. And that's like, I can't let the latter happen. So I have to like really be on my game and push to like make this happen. Because it's like I don't know. I use a lot of sports references too. It's like basketball. You want to win the game.
Yeah, for sure.
So
and so how do you go about setting up those shoots? Do you reach out to some people how does the process happen?
It's a little of both. It just kind of just depends. Sometimes I have people that reach out to me, and then sometimes there are people that like I really want to work with. So it's like, hey, I'm gonna reach out to them and see if they want to work together. You just have to sometimes step out of your comfort zone, because like I did not used to be a very outgoing person. Like, I used to just kind of just be in my shell, but it's like if I say I want to do all these things, like the music, the photography, and I want to do them on this high level, then I have to step out of my comfort zone and do things that I'm not typically comfortable with to make like something great happen.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's always an element of discomfort if you want to do anything greater than what you're already doing. And that's the thing. You have to become really good friends with that discomfort. When I first started playing in front of people, I was always very nervous when I'd first start, and I still am to this day. I'll still be like, I don't really like the way that kick sounds, but I'm just like super. That's just how my brain works, and that's what makes me. Even when I was a kid, I would do a drawing. I'd be like, I don't like that one line, but I already painted it. Can't go back and fix it. It's just the way it is. So I understand what you mean with like, this is either going to work or it's not going to work. And I just got to make it happen.
You just have to let that factor go of just wearing it. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like I said earlier, if it doesn't work,
you
try again.
Yeah, you just try again.
Just keep trying until you get it right.
Yep, you got to get it right eventually.
Yeah.
There's going to be people who remember your mess ups, but more people, hopefully more people will remember
Right.
your triumphs. At the end of the day, that's the only one that's going to matter. None of the failures matter. It's just
Yeah.
the one time you actually succeed is really the thing that matters,
Mm-hmm.
truthfully. And and if you don't, at least you gave it a shot the whole time.
Right.
And it happens to the best of us. So now, man, we kind of talked our way. We're up. We went into college here. We went into college, talked about photography starting to develop. And, as we start to approach into the early 20s era, where are we finding ourselves musically at this time? Are we looking into other things that you want to do with your passion, or sports maybe falling on the wayside? What's going on?
Early 20s, sports is still kind of a thing. Let me see. I finished. Can't go on the timetable, but yeah, sports is still a thing. Early 20s. Music is still there. Like I'm passionate about it, but I'm not like able to push like I want to yet.
Okay.
And then a little bit mid 20s, probably like 22. I finally finished football. I tried the whole pro thing. It doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And after that, I come back and I'm like, okay, cool. Well, now this is the chance for me to like really, start pushing in the passions that I want.
Mm-hmm.
And I finish up with football, and then I kind of start taking music a little bit more serious and trying to build a little more and, land some pretty dope gigs. Like me and Lightbright, we did a bunch of like dope shows together. We went to Denver, Colorado, and opened up for Lil Yachty.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was super cool. So we did shows like that, and
Very cool.
So things kind of got going.
Were you rapping or were you DJing?
No, just rapping.
Okay,
yeah, rapping. He was DJing and
nice.
Trying to make it happen.
Where were these beats coming from back then?
A lot of the beats back then were from a producer that I worked with named Drew. Shout out to Drew.
Okay.
Drew, the producer. He was another guy in Oklahoma.
Okay.
At the time. Yeah, he was pretty much doing all the beats and the mixing and kind of hooking everything up. So
nice, man.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Yeah. Very cool. And so you bounced around doing this a little bit. In Oklahoma, you went out to Denver. You do some different shows. How did you find your way to Denton? How did you start kind of coming around in this area?
So okay, basically Denton. I've only been in Denton for a year now. A year going on 2. So this would be my second year in Denton. I actually moved out to Denton because I went through a divorce in Oklahoma. I was married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure. I was out there, was married, went through a divorce, and, sought the opportunity to come back home. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's what I'm going to do.
And so how did you start to ingrain yourself back into the community?
Man, just...
Because you go through some hardships in the relationship world, and you come back here, and now it's like, okay, now let's start anew.
It's just go. It's like I had to look and say, this is just time for me to go and do everything that I said that I can do and everything that I'm capable of. This is my chance to, like, start really making that stuff happen. So I come to Denton, and I just, like, hit the ground running.
Nice.
And, like I said, it's always hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I had to – even finding you guys had to, like, research, like, I could hear, like, where's all the cool people in Denton hiding at? Where are they all at? And then I go to an event, I think it was around the corner at Studio E, I think.
Studio E? Yeah. The underground?
Yeah. I do an event. I go to an event there. I meet Mariah, and then she's like, oh, you have to meet LeBrie and Amanda. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, super, like, you're going to love them. Like, you're going to get along with them so well. And I'm like, all right, like, cool.
Yeah.
And then I ended up meeting them. I'm not sure where I met them exactly. I ended up meeting them. Then they invited me out to Backyard on Bell.
Okay.
And then I just started coming to Bell and started meeting you guys one by one. And
yeah, that was crazy, man. Yeah, it was, because I met LeBrie just because I guess he kind of did the same thing. He kind of looked up what was going on, and he messaged me and invited us to the Studio 116 party that they were doing where they were just playing a bunch of local producers' beats.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's a really smart way to meet everybody who does it. Say, hey, I'm throwing a party where I play all your music. You should come out. So that's where not the first time that I met LeBrie, but because first time I met him was at Breakfast and Beats.
Okay.
He came out to that, and he just came out and sat down for a little bit and then walked around and talked to everybody. I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And because over the years of that event, you have some interesting characters approach you, about wanting to do certain things. But LeBrie, he seemed legit. And then when I went over to the party he threw over there, I was like, well, this is cool and legit. And then we've done a couple more of those over there. So they've been a lot of fun, man. You know, they're good people.
Yeah.
You know, I like folks from Detroit. You know, they're good people, man. So we also have another endeavor, which is My World, My Vibes.
Yes.
You know, and that was where I remember when Light Bright came on, he said, "Hey, I'm gonna bring my friend with me. MJ, you might know him. He does My World." And I was like, "Yeah, My World, My Vibes. Bring it on, man." So, what is that project about?
My World, My Vibes is just basically my clothing brand.
Okay.
But it's a lifestyle brand.
Okay.
It's just literally like I want people to just literally know that it's their world and they can literally vibe any way they want to without any judgment. Don't worry about what people have to say about you, think about you. Just be the best like version of you that you can be and not worry about a thing.
So, what makes you want to create a clothing brand that makes people feel that way?
You know, I've always been into clothes and I've always like wanted to step into the lane of creating them. Like I remember sketches like even like back in the day that I would make early in college. Like my first idea was called Easy Living.
Okay.
It was a clothing brand and I would draw up stuff with my friends in the apartment and stuff but you know, I've never had the resources and got the chance to really create the clothes like I want to until about 2017, 2018. And then that's when I finally decided, like, all right, I'm going to just make it happen. So that was the first thing that I started because I kind of fell off with music for a while. I kind of stopped doing it for a minute, just live.
yeah, exactly. You start trying to do other stuff, too.
Yeah. So I stopped doing music for a while, and then that's the clothing line came in shortly after that. Like, okay, I'm going to do this now. Like, this felt like the right time to start getting that going because everything's a journey, man. Like, you have to start somewhere with everything. Like, creating something that might not be exactly what you want in the first month, first 6 months, first year. Yeah, sometimes maybe even 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
Like you got to build. So with that in mind, I was like, okay, this felt like the right time to start that.
Yeah.
So I started that about 2 years ago. I was like, okay, got My World, My Vibes. Started off with some super uncomfortable cotton shirts that were not comfortable at all and some stickers.
Yeah.
And passed them out to some kids at a church that I used to go to.
Okay.
And they were like, oh, cool. Like,
yeah. Sweet.
Yeah. So started off there, then learned that, okay, all this uncomfortable stuff, can't do it. Start learning more about different threads, different
fabrics.
Stuff, different fabrics and stuff like that. And just, you know, been growing from it since there.
And so how did you, because we all kind of have that where we're sitting there, we're like, okay, what am I going to call this?
Yeah.
What am I going to call this? Where were you when you came up with My World? Like, what were you doing
That
when
is
that
a
happened?
good question. A lot of my good ideas, not a lot of them, but some of them have come from me just sitting at home playing 2K. Especially when I was in Oklahoma, I used to do a lot of that.
Yeah.
And was just sitting there playing
Just
2K and
thinking.
was like, that's an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I designed Light Brights.
Okay.
His
logo?
design. Yeah, I
Okay.
designed that, and that's how that idea came to life. Sitting at home playing 2K, that's a good idea. And like went and jotted it down
Yeah.
and drew it up and mocked it up and was, going from there.
Man, and you were saying like it can take a year. Like I remember we did our first live stream with Something Modern like over a year ago when it like I remember it being like it's 1 year and I was like, "Oh man." And luckily since that year we had done like a whole bunch more at different places, like businesses, and the idea that I always wanted to do had actually come to life, you know? And so I was stoked to like look back and be like, all right, I don't even remember that one.
Yeah.
You know, I remember all the really good ones. But that's a very important thing to remember is that it's going to take a long time. It takes time, you know? There's not a whole lot of overnight successes out there, and there's a reason that the term one-hit wonder exists, you know? So, you know, I do believe in consistency, you know, trying your best, staying positive out there, and you know, and hopefully that can work out for you in the long run. And you can do like what you really want to do, you know, for a living. It's possible.
Yeah.
You know, so even on those certain scales, you know, it's like, okay, we're on the radio right now.
But people think they see such just surface level with things. They think that making it is you having to be on the giant stage. Yeah, that would be cool, and we would all love to do that. But if you can make the ideal life for yourself and pay your bills and kind of live comfortably doing what you want to do, then I feel like that's a win.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like that's a win in my book. Like, yeah, we would all love to be doing it big, and of course, I mean, we're working to that.
Yeah.
But if it didn't happen, I'm cool with just being able to live comfortably doing the things that I'm passionate about for a
Yeah.
living.
Yeah, I can remember the first month where I paid my bills with music.
Hmm.
Like when I paid, I was like, "Oh, I just made enough money to pay all that with music."
How do I do
I
more
can,
of that?
yeah, yeah, and that was the thing is like, how do
Yeah.
I continue to do that?
Yeah.
And that's part of the game is to
Hmm.
go, okay, I did that. Now how do I do that more
Yeah.
often?
It's
And then
constant
yeah,
problem
and
solving,
then as
bro.
you get older, you kind of have to like be like, okay, well, age is gonna like I can always make beats,
Yeah.
but do I want to be 45 like spinning records or doing this? Yes, but at a different space,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean? In
Facts.
another place, in another, to keep growing and keep moving,
Yeah.
and I would hope for, and like, dude, something modern. That name came out of because Ian was standing there and these guys started playing Switchfoot, and Ian was like, finally, something modern. And I was like, yo, that's a really, and so
I heard that exactly how he would say it
yeah,
too.
it all started just like that, man. So yeah, those little ideas, the way they
Yeah.
can just spark that inspiration
Hmm.
it comes out of nowhere. And so now you've got all these different projects,
Hmm.
that I've seen you do, from photography to the retro P to, My World, My Vibes. You've probably got other stuff in the works I don't even know about. So how do you balance it all, man? How do you balance it?
It's a good question. I have to think on that one. Balancing it, man, it's just you just figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's you just got to figure it out. If you really want it, you just have to find a way to
Are you one of
figure
those
it
people
out.
who has a calendar, or
I
like
am
do you just
so
kind of
unorganized.
it's just all up here?
I wish I was that organized.
Yeah.
I'll try sometimes to add stuff in my little calendar in my phone.
Yep, I got stuff.
I'll try. Like there was a point in time where I was doing really good, and I was
Let's
like
see.
adding stuff by the hour. I was like, from 6 to 7, I'm gonna do this. 7 to 8, I'm gonna do this. But
Oh,
like,
yeah, see, I could
slowly but surely
Man.
fell off.
The only time I ever did that was when I was a student teacher
Uh-huh.
last year, because my problem is, and I've got better at this over time, but I would sit down to do something, and then I'd have like four other things that I'd start doing. I would never finish anything. So I'd
Yeah.
need to like write a lesson plan. Next thing I know, I've only washed like 3 dishes, wrote a quarter of a lesson plan, and ate half my dinner. I can't get anything done all
Yeah.
the way. So I had to write it all down that
Right.
way. Like from this period, especially to make music, because making music was the thing I loved to do the most.
Yeah.
But I was in school, I was like, I got to get this done. So I would have these blocks where it was like from 6 to 8 or 6:30 to 7:30, you can make music.
Yeah.
7:30 to 8:30, work on lesson plan, take a break.
Yeah.
Like all this stuff listed out, man. So but now, nah. I mean, I have it on a calendar, but a
Yeah.
lot of the stuff is just locked
Yeah.
right up here. It's like, okay,
tough.
cool.
Like you just gotta take it. For me, I just take it day by day, and you have to do what works for you. There are some people that I know who have their days scheduled out by the hour for like weeks at a time. I'm like, commend you.
Well, I go to work from
Yeah.
about 8 to 3, 8 to 4, and so then after that, I've got
Yeah.
things. But as far as like the events go, like I can round those off, and I think after doing it for a little while too, you can
Yeah.
compartmentalize it in those different places,
Right.
So have you ever thought about bringing it all under one roof, and putting it all under one name or one idea?
Not so much, just because they're all just such separate things. They're all
Mhm.
their each thing, and
Yeah.
I like to just kind of present them like My World, My Vibes is a clothing line. That's that. Retro P is me as a musician. And my photography stuff is just what I do
Mhm.
separately, but not so much, just
Okay.
because I feel like those are all just separate avenues. Like, I mean, I do have the idea to just kind of present all of those things as one, kind of, even with the album.
Yeah.
Just giving that whole experience and bringing all the resources that I have to just give everyone a cool experience. In that sense, yes, but not so much.
And so with Retro P,
Mm-hmm.
with that idea, and when, like, what's the idea of the album that we've got coming out? Because we just had the show on
Yes.
Thursday, and it was super fun, man. Tons of energy up
Yes.
there. It was great. That was a blast. So let's talk about that a little bit more. And let folks know where they can find it. When is it dropping? What's all the good stuff?
I'm excited.
Yeah. And
So
what do we got going on in the near future? to
my
celebrate it?
project that I'm releasing, it's an EP, and it's called JIT 2057. JIT
Okay.
stands for Journey in Time,
Okay.
and 2057 stands for the year 2057.
Okay.
I have that released in August 20th.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, man, I produced all the beats on that. That's the first time I've ever done that. That's something that I've always wanted to do, and never felt like I was in the right space to do it. But this was the perfect time.
Yeah.
And it just all came together.
So we heard a bunch of that on Thursday, right?
A lot of those, probably the last 3 songs.
Okay.
Only the last 3 were songs from the project.
Okay.
All the other ones were just like unreleased that I have.
Okay.
Or other songs
So
that
how did you feel up there when that was all playing?
Great,
Did you
man.
feel good about it?
Yeah.
Did you like what you were hearing?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, it's super tight, man. I love being up there, man. It's just no matter if it's like 5 people or 500. I just love to be on stage and just having fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun to do that.
Yeah, the visuals were great too.
Yeah, it took me a couple days to put those together. I was like,
yeah, you were rendering it when you walked up. You're like, still rendering in the ride right now.
So it's cool with music to be able to bring all that together. Like you said, the stage design, like having the resources to do that and put cool projections up while you perform and all that. So, yeah, I was super feeling that.
That's awesome, man. That's cool. And so where can people start? Because you've got an event coming up that you're going to do. It's kind of like a private event. You got something going on. But, like, where can people hear the music when it's going to be coming out? Or if you do want to put the event on blast, you're more than welcome.
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah. So all of my music, I'm on all the streaming services.
Okay.
Like Spotify, Apple, Google, YouTube. I'm on all of them. Just search Retro P, which is cool story about my artist name, just kind of venturing off for a bit. My artist name is actually my last name backwards. My last name is Porter.
Oh.
Yeah, so
what
that
do you know?
Is Retro P.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Lightbright actually thought of that idea.
Oh man, smart guy. Yeah, he was there that night too. Last Thursday. That was a fun time.
Heck yeah.
I had to say what's up to him for sure.
And then so the events that I have coming up on August the 15th, I'm a part of the Raw Artists art show. They're having an art show at the House of Blues, and I'm showing a photo story for photography.
Okay.
And that photo story is called Love 2057. It's just kind of tying into the album, the whole theme of that.
Very cool.
Went out and shot that a couple weeks ago with like some super cool creatives. Came together to do that. So that I'm looking forward to that. That's next Thursday.
Okay.
At the House of Blues from like 7 to 12.
Okay, nice.
So, yeah, I'm super looking forward to that. And then on the 17th, that's where we're having the listening party. So, yeah, everybody's pretty much invited to that. It's at Picture Park Studio. It's one of those like Instagrammable photo studios. They have like 12 or 11 or 12 different backdrops.
Okay.
Yeah, and just have some fun, play some music, eat some wings, and listen to my album.
Oh, you got me.
Yeah.
You got me with wings, man.
Yeah.
That's if people want to know what's my favorite snack. Wings. I want wings, man. There was a problem. There was a time where I had like a bit